Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third edition and hopefully the final edition of the Bitcoin Fork and ChainSplit update. And today, by the way, I'm sorry for doing this so late in the day. I really wanted to get this done earlier in the day, but the day just got away from me. But in a way, this is better because it's possible we will be on video watching the lock-in happen. And for this special episode, I am joined by Jimmy Sung, who's been so helpful over the last few months, just breaking down in an impartial way the current scaling situation. So go ahead and say hi, Jimmy.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be on Tone's channel. I'm told he doesn't usually have guests, so I feel very special getting to be on Tone's show.
Yeah, my channel is a little bit different. I know you guys have seen me with a lot of guests, but that's not usually on my channel outside of the Crypto Scam podcast, which has its own theme going. But I wanted Jimmy on because I did want to throw some questions at Jimmy. Some people are worried about certain things. And but you know what? Let's begin the usual way. Let's talk about the price. Let me just do a quick screen share. We'll start with the price. We'll reference the price every now and then. Of course, all of you know this is my website. Let's talk about the price. And here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart is its own special beast. So as you all know, I somewhat accurately called for take your profits off the bullish trade right around the all-time high. Then around this area here on the week of 6/26, I said my indicators are telling me to go to cash because the original plan after a 1 to 4 day pullback was starting to look serious. And then last week, there were plenty of indications to short Bitcoin. Now, in reality, shorting Bitcoin is a very dangerous proposition, as everyone learned today if you did short Bitcoin. But some indicators are strictly numbers. And the numbers said that you go short right here at 2460 last week on Monday. And if this week closes above 2,500, you need to drop that short position. Now, in reality, as a trader, if your price drops so much, you should be taking some profit. You can't have a winning trade cost you money. At the least, you need to set a break-even stop loss. And waiting for the week to close could be very dangerous because the week can close at $4,000. So depending only on these numbers still requires a little bit of a discretion. But this green one will remain as long as this week closes above 2,500. And that tells you to take your position back into cash. Now, next week, the moment we get a higher high, it gives us a bullish entry on the long-term weekly chart. Okay, now let's take a look at the daily chart. Also, please take a look at my Twitter, guys. Like the pinned tweet, I very clearly in last night's video or yesterday afternoon, I very clearly stated that the moment the price of Bitcoin, where is it? The moment the price of Bitcoin, the moment signaling for BIP91 goes above 85%, the price of Bitcoin should immediately be at 2,600 plus, okay? This morning, I pretty much woke up and this was around 83, 84%, and the price was flirting with 2,600. The higher this percentage goes, the better it is for the price, but it will stabilize sooner or later, okay? So please go back. This is just a 2-minute clip of my 1-hour video yesterday. If you click on it, it'll take you straight to that part, okay? So let's get back to the daily price. So on the daily chart, this 9 I told all my entire audience that on this 9, you take your profits from the bearish trade. Right here on this candle at the bottom of the support, I was looking for a bullish trade. At a minimum, a 1 to 4 day bounce, potentially leading to a new drop if SegWit wasn't going to get adopted, or a complete breakout like what we just saw today. This is unprecedented. This might be the highest gain in numerical value of Bitcoin in one day in the history of Bitcoin. So the range today, we went from the open of 2,250 all the way up, and right now we're at 2,790. So we're doing extremely well right now. Okay, I mean, this is a $400 day. I don't think we've ever had that before, like ever. So, you should have already been in a bullish trade if you traded the way I've been tweeting. And I clearly stated that right here above yesterday's high, and especially above the 50-day moving average, it's time to add to your bullish position. So on the daily, we remain bullish. On the weekly, we're about to go bullish. So that's an update on the price. Let's take a look at the latest numbers from the signaling. Okay, let's check this out here. All right, so we are now at 92%. We have 10 blocks to go out of the next 25 blocks. That is an incredible probability, okay? There is actually another great site right here that they even show you, you see the probability sort of, right? So right here, so this is the projection for this lock-in period that we're gonna break the black line, and the black line is what we need to lock in SegWit. All right, so a couple of thoughts, and then I'm gonna bring in Jimmy to kind of fill in some of the finer details. All right, let's start with some of the things that helped push this over the edge. So BitFury started signaling. I don't even see BitFury. When was the last time they mined the block? There it is. So BitFury right there started signaling for BIP91. That was great. The more important one was Slush, okay? And right there. There's Slush right there, okay? And Slush turned on BIP91 signaling just this morning, okay? Now, I actually had expectations that they were going to do that, but in my tweet this morning, I clearly said we're already at 83%, and Slush hasn't even turned on their signaling yet. And we all knew that Slush was going to do that. They are very, very responsible, okay? So here's the interesting part. Bitcoin.com remains signaling BU, which is insane. Okay. Now here's my thoughts on this. Okay. So Jimmy, feel free to jump in if I say something incorrect. The way I understand the lock-in period, and oh, where's Jimmy's article? Oh man, should have had your article because it had all like the numbers and dates and.
I think it's that green tab with yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. You know my screen better than me. That's awesome. Okay. So right now, we are in this epic right here. Epic, right? Epic? Okay. So we are locking this in, okay? Wait, so this is this like greater? Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is when this period ends, correct?
No, that's when it began. The next line is when it ends, right? July 21st.
Oh, okay, so we're here. Right, so we're going to, this is going to happen within the hour.
Yeah, so that's GMT. So, and also the blocks have been found much faster. So it's actually going to happen close to 00 GMT.
Is that sooner?
Yeah, much sooner.
Oh, like 10 hours sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it's been it's been 8.5 minute blocks for a while now. So that's a lot more equipment.
Well, the time isn't really important, right? It's the difference between, oh, I guess it's kind of important. Anyway, so we're going to get this lock in, okay? And after that, here's my understanding of what happens. For the next epoch, which is approximately 2 days, 56 hours, but we've been moving at a faster pace. So for the next 2 days, all the miners are given a 2-day window to upgrade signaling to SegWit. Because after this time, and this time could be slightly different, if they find a block that isn't signaling for BIP91 SegWit, their blocks will be rejected by the nodes. Do I have that correct?
You have it absolutely correct.
Okay. So here is the here is the insanity of it all. Bitcoin.com is still stubbornly signaling for Bitcoin Unlimited, which is insane, right? So after the next hour, Bitcoin.com needs to start signaling for SegWit2x, because then any block they find after July 23rd will be rejected by the network, but they're not new to that, right? They've already experienced what happens when you buy the block and it gets rejected, right? So it'll be deja vu for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm really curious what happens here, right? I don't really know what this is.
Kind of CK pool. That's a pool in China somewhere.
Okay. So they may not have gotten a memo yet, but I know that Roger Ver and Bitcoin.com has the memo. So what do you think they're going to do?
Well, I mean, I presume they'll upgrade their software. I mean, the thing, Tone, that I think that they're holding to is that according to the New York agreement, and at least according to the SegWit2x timeline, they're only obligated to start signaling on July 21st. And that's midnight tonight. I'm guessing they'll flip the bit so that they're signaling SegWit again. But for now, I think it's just sort of they're sticking their tongues out, if you will, at the community and saying, hey, we're going to still signal BU, and that's sort of our form of protest or something like that.
Well, no, you brought up a very good point, because this was going to be my next topic. SegWit2x code isn't supposed to be live until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you remember me drilling everyone, including you. Why can't we just signal BIP91 and ignore SegWit2x code?
Mm-hmm.
And is this what happened?
Well, so there's something called SegSignal, which is James Hilliard's branch. Like he forked off core, but it's based off of 0.14.2, and instead of all this other stuff like the 2x stuff and testnet stuff that SegWit2x has, he just put in the BIP91 code into that. And that's something that you can download and run. I don't know how many miners are running it, but if your thesis is correct, all these miners are running just SegSignal.
Right. So, and the next topic, I want to go to, is it trade block? I want to see like these things be in mind. Hold on. Yep, there it is. All right, hold on. Let me share screen again. I want to see these things in live action here. So I think it's Bitcoin and live. Boom. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I always have to like look at it for like 2 minutes to figure out if the mempool is full or empty.
It looks like there's a pretty big mempool there.
Yeah, 24,000. That's not little. That's decent. That's decent. All right, cool. Wow. So last block was found 16 minutes ago. We're like big gaps right here.
Mm-hmm. And Pool found 3 in a row.
Yeah, I see that. And they found an empty one again. Like, it's so annoying. Hey, yeah, can I ask you that? Like,
yeah,
how come these blocks are found within like seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is that? Like, I understand, like, you found a block, and then the average time is 10 minutes, and sometimes it takes an hour, and sometimes it takes a minute. But like, it shouldn't take 0 seconds, right? Like, it shouldn't take 6 seconds. I mean, the standard deviation on that, right? When your average time is 10 minutes, I mean, the standard deviation of finding a block at 6 seconds has to be like 300 sigma.
Yeah, well, it's not quite that much. I mean, it's a completely random process, right? Mining means that you take a header and you hash it, and if it's below a certain number, then it's valid. And according to Jihan and some other miners that I've heard from, what they do is if they find a block, they want to get their miners working right away. So they might not have constructed a block yet, and they just mine an empty block in the time that it takes to construct the block, and that usually takes a few seconds. oftentimes they'll find the block in that time, and it's like 12.5 Bitcoin, so they just publish it. And
okay, so let me ask you this question. Do they have an advantage of finding the second block before they propagate the first block?
Yeah, of course. Anyone that finds it can do the same thing. And you know, Emin wrote that selfish mining paper a long time ago.
Well, okay,
that was what it was based on.
That was a badly phrased question. By advantage, obviously they're the only ones mining the block because they haven't propagated the block that they found yet, right?
Yeah.
So I don't mean that advantage. I mean that advantage is obvious because nobody else is looking, right? But if nobody else is looking, shouldn't they have like shouldn't it take them 80% longer to find it because they don't control 100% of hashing power, right? So let me just finish this, right? So let's say they begin looking for the next block before anybody else, but they are looking for this block with a fraction of the total hash rate.
Yes.
Hash rate, right? So it should take them on average longer than 10 minutes.
Yes. Yes.
So, but do they have an advantage of finding the block sooner? Because clearly they're finding blocks in 0 seconds and 6 seconds. And like that, just like mathematically, I know it's random, but mathematically, it doesn't really make sense to me.
Okay, yeah, so you could do the math, right? Like they have about 22% of the hashing power, at least.
Sure.
But that's the last time.
Right. So it should take them 5 times longer to find a block.
So which at this point, which would be since it's about 8.5 minutes, that's about 8.5 times 5. That's about 42 minutes.
Right. So that should be their average. Yet they're managing to find blocks in 6 seconds. Like mathematically, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry.
Right. So that would happen. So if you divide 6 divided by 45 times 60, that's about 2,800 or so, something like that. So it should happen about 1 out of 2,800 times. And, you know, I don't know, you'd have to do blockchain analysis to figure that out. But also the 0 second thing might just be the timestamp that's on there, and that's not always accurate because a lot of miners use that as part of the entropy to get more hashes out.
Well, no. I mean, like it also shows you elapsed time, and like elapsed time is the same for 3 blocks.
Well, so that could be just like when block trade or when trade block received it, not actually when Antminer mined it. And that's impossible to know unless you're in the Mempool facility and have access to their logs.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, we've been in a slow hour here, so I mean, it's been in the last 1 hour and a half, we've only mined 3 blocks.
Right. There was an earlier block earlier today that had like 11, and another that had like 10. So we might just be coming out to a law of averages or something.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, so that was just a little side question that I was curious about. Okay, so now let's get back to, so we still have 10 blocks to go. Let me flip my camera back on. So let's get back to some of the concerns, right? So there are 2 concerns. One, recently brought up by Gregory Maxwell, in that if there are people that aren't signaling that are part of that 20%, their blocks could kind of get lost in translation, sort of.
This is the issue from that he posted on, that he posted on BTC1.
Yeah, let me pull that up. I'll screen share that as well. So that's right here.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is if Alice, Bob, Carol, and Dave, they're BTC1 miners, and they don't have a connection to each other, but they manage, there's sort of this middle network that's not running SegWit2x or SegSignal, and that in that middle, some miner finds a block that's not signaling for SegWit. In his example, he's saying, well, maybe it's like a Bitcoin Unlimited miner. That block may not propagate to all of them because these other miners might not be, or these other nodes might not be propagating it. And that may end up with A, B, C, and D all not receiving it. And since they're not connected, they don't know about each other's blocks. And
But now that we're at 92%, probably this will increase. Is that something we should still worry about, or probably not at this point?
Probably not. I mean, I can't. His premise depends on the miners not being connected, which I don't think is going to be true, especially since they brought it up.
And I think it depends that this number is closer to 80 than closer to 95.
Yeah, that too. And you know, and it also depends on somebody mining without signaling for SegWit. And right now, in the last like 100 blocks, the only people that seem to be doing it are CK Pool and Bitcoin.com. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin.com will change it. And I think somebody in the chat said CK Pool's out of Australia, so maybe they didn't get the memo, but they'll get the memo. You know, I mean, this is going to be news.
Yeah, well, once they get a block rejected in 2 days from now, they'll definitely get the memo. Every news organization will make fun of them for it.
Yeah, okay. It's $40,000 now, right? Like at the price it is, that's a lot of money.
So what do you think about F2 Pool?
Yeah, so they started signaling shortly after Slush. So if you scroll up, yes.
Let me see here.
So I think wherever you find the first Slush one, if you go down a little further, keep going.
There it is. Found it.
Yeah. So they started signaling, and they've come on board, and it looks like Wang Chun isn't keen on trolling everybody like he did with Litecoin. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much everybody at this point. You know, Kano Pool and Bitcoin.com seem to be the only holdouts at this point.
Okay, so now let's talk about another concern. The ultimate troll of the trolls, Peter Todd. Peter is great. I really like Peter Todd. I like hanging out with Peter Todd. He'll like challenge you. You'll like say like the most obvious thing, and he can argue the other side of it. He's really good at that.
That's a great way to describe him. Yeah.
So
yeah, okay. He makes that tweet. Yeah.
Right. So let's briefly talk about this, because some people are still nervous of it. So what is the worst case scenario? Can you run us through that, and then maybe I'll throw some questions at you.
Yeah. So I'm working on an article to actually answer questions like this, but basically the worst case scenario that I can think of is a lot of miners get lazy or are too cautious and decide not to run SegWit2x or SegSignal, and are just running core and signaling BIP91 and BIP141.
Is this what's happening right now?
Yeah. And they continue to do that because they feel like it's more cautious or something like that. And more than half of the miners signaling BIP91 right now actually aren't the presumption is, the worst case scenario is, if they are running just core and not SegSignal or SegWit2x, then a majority aren't actually enforcing BIP91, in which case somebody may be able to mine a block without signaling for SegWit and still be extended by these miners that are just sort of fake signaling, if that makes sense. So
it actually doesn't, unfortunately, right?
Okay.
So let's dig into that, okay? And if I'm confused, then I know. By the way, we're at 700 viewers, by the way. Almost.
Oh my goodness.
We're at 697. We're getting there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right.
700. Yep. 699, and one more viewer will make it 700.
Wow.
My record is 710. So this is
we might win. Yeah, based on this lock-in party. All right, so let me try to explain it again.
Okay, let me put it. Let me like in your explanation, right? Mention like, because remember we have 10 more blocks, and then there is a 10, and then there's a 2-day grace period. I know it's 56 block period, but 56-hour period, and like 300 something blocks. But I'm just gonna make it simple. There's a 2-day lock-in period about. Okay, and so if they're fake signaling right now, what does that do for when the next 2 days end?
Yeah, so once BIP91 activates, and if a majority of miners,
what does that mean? BIP91 activates. Is that in an hour, or is that in 2 days?
That's in 2 days. So
in 2 days. Okay.
Yeah, so after the grace period, when it activates, then the soft fork rule for BIP91 is active on the network. But if more than half of the miners are fake signaling, then no one is enforcing that soft fork rule. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually does make sense.
Yeah.
And what do you think the probability of that is?
I think that's very close to zero. But
I actually agree with you.
yeah, I mean, just given what all the CEOs seem to be saying, I saw a tweet from Bobby Lee from BTCC. He said all our miners are running BTC1 code right now. There was a tweet by Jihan, tweet by some other people. So I mean, if you take them at their word, and I don't know if you want to trust them or not, but they seem to be saying that, and I don't know what they gain by lying about that. So yeah, it seems reasonable to assume that they're actually running the software that will enforce that soft fork rule.
Okay, so I have, I mean, I believe that also, but for me, I'm a trader. And for me, the price says it all. The confidence in the price. Now, granted, the price isn't always correct, right? This is why we have bubbles. You know, the people did think that real estate will only go up and up and up, and then we got 2008, and people thought that, you know, a .com will only go up in value, and then you had the tech crash. So I understand that the price isn't always correct, but I mean, by the time we have one more hour, by the time today ends, we could be back at 2,900 because a lot of people put liquidity off of exchanges. And as confidence in buying rushing in, there's really not that much liquidity to go around. And this was a monster short squeeze if anyone was short. So for me, I mean, even if these miners were thinking of doing something, you know, malicious and fake signaling, doing it at this stage, I believe will drop the price by $1,000 in a few hours. It'll be mass panic and a huge catastrophe. And not even a CEO with the status of Jihan and the backing of the Chinese government will have enough protection from the old school Bitcoiners who, you know, had just lost tens of millions of dollars because of his games, but they're still sitting on, you know, tens of millions of dollars. I think like the wrath of the Bitcoiners is not something that anyone would want to test. So even if they had these kinds of malicious intentions, seeing what activation of SegWit, even before the SegWit 2x code, does to the confidence of the ecosystem will completely remove those thoughts from the situation.
Yeah, I mean, that too, but I mean, think about all his shareholders and think about all his customers and stuff, right? Like if Bitcoin drops $1,000, they're all going to be mad at him too. I mean, forget like the worldwide Bitcoiners. He might be in trouble just with the people in China. So I would guess that this, what you're saying is exactly right. Like there's just too much money in it for them to back out of anything, or like this, there's just way too much money. I mean, I wrote an article a while back. I estimated how much money he was making at like $1,200 a Bitcoin. I mean, it's way more now, you know, 2,800. It's way too profitable to walk away.
I mean, look at it. We're at 28.24 on Bitfinex.
Oh my goodness.
And 28.16 on Stamp.
Oh my gosh. We might hit an all-time high, Tone.
I know. We're getting there. We're getting close.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's good. So I had a couple of people call me today, and I mean, news travels late, and people absorb this news late, and I still have people panicking over August 1st and asking, you know, how should they protect their Bitcoins? And I'm pretty much started to tell them, you know, not to worry about it. I think we can almost pop the champagne.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially once it activates and SegWit 2x runs smoothly for a couple of days, I think it's a party for.
Wait, did you say SegWit 2x runs smoothly?
Yeah, because or seg signal or whatever. Once it activates and they successfully enforce the BIP91 soft fork, then I think we're in the clear.
We're almost at 800 live viewers. We're at 782 viewers, man.
We're breaking records in many ways, not just with price. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
wait. Should I reach for my bottle of champagne?
Yeah, maybe. You know, I have one I haven't like opened in like 5 years. I've been waiting to use it for something, but maybe this might be the right time. I don't know. Oh man. But 10 blocks away, and you know, I mean, I think you said earlier that this is like the highest dollar increase ever, right? Like that would be a record. You know, we would have, you know, Segwit on its way. We would also have the most live viewers. That's a lot of milestones in one day, Tone.
Let's see here. All right, there's a champagne bottle.
That's awesome.
I'm not actually gonna open it because I have to be on a flight at like 5 in the morning, and I'm not really like, and I still got a million things to do, including packing. So, but otherwise, yeah. If it was a different situation, I would definitely be
for some bubbly.
Yeah, but okay. So in my like viewpoint, right? So with I have to keep checking the blocks, man. I'll share a screen if we found another block.
Yeah, we've had a run of bad luck here.
I know. We're not gonna. I don't know if we can do a marathon here, waiting for the blocks. I was like, kept trying to do this video earlier, but then it's coming in later. I'm like, oh, now I can time it with the last block, and now difficulty gets, you know. Oh, we got one. We got one.
Oh, really? Okay, let's see.
Wait, we got two.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Yeah, see, BTC.com found them consecutively. That often happens because
right there.
Yeah.
I got my screen share on.
All right, 8 blocks, people. 8 blocks. That's like an hour right now.
All right, let's see who found. BTC found one. Unknown found the other. So
it says BTC.com for both on the XBT.eu.
Oh, okay. So, all right, nice. Hey, Bobby Lee, you just made everybody richer.
Oh no, that's BTCC. BTC.com is somebody else.
Oh wait, that's BTCC?
Yeah, BTCC is it's Bobby
so
Lee.
Wait,
yeah.
so which one is BTC.com?
I don't know. I forget. But they're I think they're fairly closely aligned with Mempool and via BTC and some others. I forget though. I'm sure somebody in chat will let us know.
Yeah, I'm sure. 824 live viewers. I'm not even sure these numbers are real at this point, man.
It seems unreal, right? It's like looking at the Bitcoin price and being like, I don't know what's
like going on. I know.
Yeah, it just like if you're so used to like $200 Bitcoin and you see it as like 2,800, you're like, wait, did I just wake up and, you know, all my dreams came true or something? That's how I view some of these prices sometimes. It's still unreal to me.
Jesus. Okay. So in my view on the situation, right? So we're 8 blocks away. We have plenty of time. We're definitely going to lock it in. I think 80% of the challenge is done in the next hour once we find them, right? And then we knock out the other 15% of the hump over the next 2 days when we lock in Segwit after the next epic, as you call it. And after that, you really need like an outside shot that all of that 51% of the miners will change their mind and start propagating non-Segwit blocks.
And that would be idiotic, because if they were planning that from the beginning, then they shouldn't have activated BIP91, right? Like it makes no sense to activate BIP91 and then betray. It would have been much simpler just to not agree to BIP91 in the first place and just betray that way. Like from a game theory perspective, it makes zero sense because
I have to disagree. I have to disagree with you.
Why is that?
Because of my hat.
Yeah.
Because, you know, then maybe guys like me, you know, finally get some sleep, maybe go on a vacation, and then we're not pushing for, you know, to protect ourselves on August 1st. Like you let the other side think they've won.
I see. So you're thinking some sort of like late betrayal so they can put people like you at
did we lose you, Jimmy?
At ease. No. I'm here. Can you hear me? Oh no. Oh, I'm out. I'm out. All right, I'm back. Tone, you around? You got the package? Oh man. I was supposed to cover for you, and I didn't. I like dropped out at the worst time.
I know. I've been waiting for a package for like all week, and I told Jimmy, I'm like, hey, someone's probably gonna knock on my door. UPS is gonna knock on my door. I'll need to walk away and cover, and that's when your internet goes out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right,
terrible.
So, I've been waiting for my Lenovo X1 Yoga. I'm using the same computer right now, but I had to reorder it. And it cost me like $400 to change it because I screwed up on my original order. And they charge you a 15% restocking fee if the new one is cheaper than the old one. And the new one turned out to be a little bit cheaper. Not because I bought a cheaper laptop, but because I bought it with a better discount code. Anyway, so now I got to pay Lenovo like $400 to return a $2,500 computer. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, you shouldn't have used that code, Tone. It was a trap.
I know. No, I did the math. It kind of made sense. Like it saved me enough money so that it only cost me like $50. Anyway, I spent a bunch of time doing my math. So I think I'm winning like $50 on the deal here. But anyway, all right. Let's get back to this, right? So we were talking about a game theory, and from a game theory perspective, just to play the worst devil's advocate, you do want to let the other side think they've won, and then you crush them, okay? So I don't think that's going to happen, and the price of Bitcoin clearly tells me that that's not going to happen. But it's good to know that if 51% of mining power all of a sudden stop signaling SegWit blocks after the lock-in period, because during the lock-in period, it gets kind of weird, right? They can completely go back during the lock-in period, and if all of a sudden less than 50% are signaling for SegWit during the lock-in period, what happens?
It's fine. Those are all valid blocks during the lock-in period.
Right.
It's just after activation that it changes. So
and then after activation, SegWit would work, but I don't see that happening. Like right now, I am giving it like an 80% chance that everything is in the clear once we find 8 more blocks. And after that, after the lock-in period, I'm giving it over a 95% shot that we're totally in the clear. So here's the next big question. Because SegWit got locked in before SegWit 2x code even came out of beta, what does this mean for the future of SegWit 2x code?
That's a tough question. I'm not sure if it means really anything. We do know that some people are signaling. Whether or not they're actually running BIP91 on their miners is a big question. But like you said, because of all the price increase and everything else, it's likely that they're going to run it even if they were fake signaling before. So that means that it'll get more sort of real world testing, I guess, because people are forced to run it. So that means that, I mean, as far as I can tell, and I've sort of looked at the SegWit 2x code changes versus Bitcoin Core 0.14 with that 0. It's actually more than half of the code, I think, is related to BIP91. And, another portion is related to testnet and stuff like that. The other consensus critical stuff doesn't come until November. And that's really when you have sort of any risk in running that code is after SegWit activates, but before, like sometime around November when the 2x fork starts. That's when really like a lot of the risk of the software comes in, because that's what the code says. It says, hey, after SegWit activation, do this, this, and this, and that's where all the bugs can be. But I mean, as far as right now, I imagine it'll just move on, and depending on whether or not they want to try to merge this back into Core, and there does seem to be at least some indication from people like Mike Belshi, CTO of BitGo, who's also project manager for BTC1. He seems to really want to get it into Core, and he may be willing to compromise to do it.
Wait, can we just back up? So BTC1 is SegWit 2x?
Yes, they're the same.
Okay. And Mike Belshi wants to merge it into Core.
Yes.
But I don't understand how that would be possible, because then the core would have to agree to a hard fork in 3 to 6 months, which is crazy.
Right. So this was the conversation Mike Belshi was having with Matt Corallo on Twitter, which is, okay, so Mike Belshi said, hey, we want to merge this into core, and we're open to changes. And Matt Corallo, I think almost jokingly said, hey, so you're willing to move out the date 9 months? And he said, hey, we're open to anything. Let's talk and call me. And so like that, at least to me, seems like they're willing to go with sort of the timelines that core is willing to do, which is more like a year. That's what they've been saying for a while, is you need a year to prepare for this stuff. And if that is agreeable to everybody, then we might actually stay on one chain. We go to the moon, right? Like this, we don't even go to the moon. We go to like Pluto or whatever. Like
that was always the plan. I mean, look, I am against the hard fork because the smart people have convinced me that it's dangerous. If the smart people can continue doing the research and then come back with sufficient evidence that it's no longer as dangerous and it starts to become necessary, my mind can be changed.
I think a lot of core developers hold that view, is 3 months is too short, but a year and a half, that's totally worth it.
It's not just the time, right? It's like, let's see what SegWit can do. Let's see if SegWit can scale us. And I would like to keep running my node. I don't want, like, the blockchain to blow up in size like Ethereum's.
Yeah, I really hope not. And yeah, I mean, we might get to that point. I mean, like, I'm more hopeful after seeing those tweets of Bitcoin staying on one chain than I was before, when I was thinking, hey, this hard fork really is going to happen in November. So, I mean, there seems to be at least a little wiggle room and some room for this hard fork to be done safely. And that might be the compromise that everyone wants.
Okay, so let's get back to SegWit2x, or BTC1 as another name for it. So how obligated do you think the people that signed the New York agreement are to actually run that code? Like, for example, SegWit is getting locked in. Like, do these miners even need to acknowledge the fact that Garzik has been programming SegWit2x code? Can they just stay on core the whole way through?
Well, so at least for BIP91 enforcement, right? Like, this is the soft fork enforcement. They need to be running at least seg signal, which is core plus BIP91, or they need to be running SegWit2x/BTC1, which is the Jeff Garzik one.
Which one do you think is safer to do?
Probably seg signal, because James Hilliard is a core developer, and I think that code's been reviewed by at least Adam Back. So I mean, it's pretty solid code. That's again, that's about the majority of the actual coding changes in SegWit2x. So the Garzik stuff is BIP102, and that doesn't actually happen till November. So most of the code in SegWit2x is actually seg signal. So it's probably okay to run either one, at least in the short term. It's more in November that you have to really make a choice.
Right. I mean, I'm hoping that here's a little price update for you guys. We are at 28.93.
Oh my God.
Bitstamp. We're almost at 2,900, 28.96. And I guess if you 28.97, and we're about to break 2,900. $2 away, $1 away, and this is stamped. Come on, $1. Someone's gonna buy it. 90 cents, 70 cents. Man,
99. I saw 99.
I saw 99.99, and then some asshole had to sell.
Yeah. But all-time high on Bitstamp is 29.80. We're $80 away. 2,900. Here we go.
Yeah, there it is. 2,900. We hit 2,900 on Stamp, and we hit 2,900 on Bitfinex. So they are both at 2,900.
So let me ask you a question about the technicals. Has there ever been a day like this in Bitcoin ever,
No.
with this sort of percentage increase? I don't think I ever remember.
By percentage, yes. By percentage, very possible. So let's take a look at what the percentage. That's a good question. Well, we don't even know where this day will end. We still have 45 minutes in the day. So we started, I'm going to round it off, at 2250. We are now at 2910. Do I dare do the percentage in my head on air from 2915 now? Oh, my God. I don't actually have Excel on this computer. It's brand new, so now I have to go to my calculator. So let me see here.
2250, you said? So
2918 now. Like, just do 2920. We'll probably be at 2950 any minute. Just do
a 30% increase. Oh my God.
30% increase in a day.
In a day. I honestly can't remember it going, well, maybe like April of 2013, something like that. But
yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. I'm going to those November Senate hearings back in April. I mean, this was probably a decent day. We went from, oops, wrong day. Yeah, we went from 472 to 5. Oh, it's open. Sorry. We went from 472 to hitting 543.
So that's like under 20%. So that's
like 2025. Yeah, so that's not it. So we might have to go back all the way to November, or all the way to like the lows. This won't be good enough either. That was in the 300s. Well, at the very top, I mean, this was an interesting day. The low for the day was 366, and the high was 504.
Okay, so that probably beats it if you count the range or something like that.
Yeah, if we count the range.
But that's just the wicks there. I don't know how
that was legit. That was a legit day. I remember that day. This was the day following the crash. The low for the day was 178, and the high was 255.
Okay, that definitely would beat it. So
so they've been, but I mean, considering how considering the value. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this was that other all-time low. So the day opened at around 180, and the high was 230. So no, that's not 30%. But yeah, I mean, this today is just unprecedented. And look, I'm just kind of happy that look, I don't want to say I was right, but I was right. Like the world needs SegWit. I mean, like, what else can I say?
By the way, your viewers should know your new nickname, Tonestradamus.
Oh, here we go. We opened at about 500, and we closed at almost 800.
Oh my gosh, that's wow. That's like easily 40%.
Yeah, so we went from 60. Right. We went from 500 to 780.
Oh, wow!
In one day,
60, almost 60%. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, so, who knows? Maybe if there's a few whales out there, maybe we can make it.
Yeah, that was a day back in November, like you said. But then the following day, it was worse.
Always goes down farther than it goes up.
So let's hope that the following day isn't a repeat of what happened back in November. But yeah. So okay, I don't want to scroll all the way back now. Jesus.
Maybe click refresh or something. I don't know.
I'm not really sure of the best way to do that. I'll just do it this way. There we go. Gonna look at the longer term view here. We're at 977 live viewers, guys.
Wow, can we hit 1,000? That would be just like
I want to hit.
I want to hit 3,000 on Bitstamp, 1,000 on the show, and I want to have.
Oh my God, Bitcoin just fell like $100. While we were looking at the history of Bitcoin, it dropped. We're now back at 2830. But you know what? At this point, the order books are so thin right now. Everyone is just trying to profit back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if we're closing the day above 2,900, if we're approaching all-time highs. Let's take a look at if we found another block. Nope, we're still having. We got those 2 blocks 20 minutes ago, man. It's like a marathon, man.
No. Oh, wait.
Yeah, we found 2 blocks 20 minutes ago right here.
Oh, okay. They updated the other side, so I guess it was BTCC. That's kind of
Oh,
interesting.
wait. 21 minutes ago. Why does this say 50 seconds? That's weird.
No, I think that's the interval between the last.
Oh, that's the interval between them. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It was 50 seconds after, right?
Yeah.
But look, see, here's the thing, right? This is what frustrates me to no end. This block was found 50 seconds after, and look how many transactions they processed.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
It was a full block. It was a 1 megabyte block with almost 2,000 transactions, right? And then here is our favorite villain, Antpool, that found the block, a few seconds later, and no transactions in it. But they did find it 6 seconds later, and they did make it 1 megabyte. So I guess they get half credit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's more an infrastructure problem than any malice. It's just, they probably have a giant data center, and it probably doesn't propagate fast enough or something.
All right, come on, guys. Let's find those last 8 blocks. You know what? I'm so disappointed that I just got my new power supply. My miner is still not online supporting this. It's so frustrating, man. So frustrating. I could not set up my miner in time, man.
Well, you should set it up. I mean, Luke Dash is saying, everyone put your power to BIP91 because we got to get it.
I know. I tried, but the additional power supply just came in the mail like yesterday. I'm flying to California tomorrow. My miner is at my cabin. Mostly because I happen to have free electricity up there until they find until the community finds out I'm running Bitcoin mining equipment. Let's see how long that lasts. Oh, 1,000 viewers.
Yeah. Oh, no way. No way. I need a virtual high five here. There we go. All right. That's awesome.
Wow, 1,000 viewers. I never expected that, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for spreading the word. Thank you for supporting user-activated software. Like a lot of my viewers, set up full nodes. They were asking how to support. Thank you for your donations. Thank you to the private consulting clients. Hey, start tweeting at Jimmy. Maybe he'll start a consulting service with his brain power as well.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Hey, Jimmy, thanks for coming in. Thanks for clearing some of the things up. I mean, I was really hoping that, we've already been on camera for 15 minutes, I think. This show has been going on. I know time flies, right? And
only 2 blocks, though. That's very disappointing.
Yeah, and we've only found 2 blocks. So, man, I really wanted to stick around and watch it happen. But I don't really have anything else to add other than just we're watching the price. It's pulling back a little bit. It was nice to see 29.22 was the high on Bitfinex, and what do we got here? 21.
I got 29.38 on Bitfinex, but I don't know. Maybe
I got 29.38 on Stamp. You might be. It might be Stamp. Right.
Yeah. I got
29.38 on Stamp and 29.22 on Bitfinex. So let's split the middle here. We hit a high of 29.30. It's only a matter of time before we go to all-time highs and break 3,000. There was a lot of stress getting Segwit in. And who do you give credit for getting it done? I guess is a good question to you.
I think
because you didn't think it was going to get done, so you're a good person to ask. Who do you who do you give credit for getting it done as a neutral party?
Well, as a neutral party, the only thing that Bitcoin only people that you can really credit in Bitcoin is the entire community, the entire ecosystem, because it's a consensus-based system. You need the cooperation of everybody in order to get it done. Now, I do credit someone like Peter Wolla for coding it, for Eric Lombroso for helping me define the specification, for Greg Maxwell for reviewing it. But I also credit the people that came up with BIP91, James Hilliard, and people like that. Also, obviously, the miners that are mining BIP91 blocks, right? And BIP148 people that sort of triggered that. But yeah, who knows, right? Like it's really hard to tell or give credit in a decentralized network because you really don't know what caused what. I'm just happy that we're in it together, that Bitcoin's not splitting at least soon, and we're hitting all-time highs. Although we are just dropping up below 27. Oh, we're in the 27s. What's going on?
Yeah, we dropped $5 under 28. I wouldn't really worry about it at all. It's just the price went a little too high too fast. You don't trust me. Nobody wants Bitcoin to close the day at 3,500 because the following week is not going to be pretty. You really want to have like a stairs going up. You don't really want to shoot because then there is no support when it's time to sell.
I see.
So you really don't want that. So it's okay. As long as the wick on the top isn't too big, I'm okay with this. But it was nice. It was nice watching it go up. The important part is that SegWit is in. Okay, so let me put you on the spot some more since that was a very political answer. I went all out on the user-activated soft fork. Now, granted, I came a little bit late to the movement. Plenty of people that I respect were on it before me. But I went all out. I mean, I even had that picture that could potentially have gotten me in trouble and made me unemployable for the rest of my life. So I went all out with BIP148 and the user-activated soft fork. Honestly, how much do you think they influenced what is happening today?
Oh, I think they influenced it quite a bit. I think BIP91 is clearly front-running BIP148. It's almost exactly the same code. Only difference is that it asks miners to signal at 80% first. So, from that perspective, they copied the code, they front-ran the date. I'd say user-activated soft fork has a huge influence on what happened today and what is going to happen today and what will happen in a few days as well. So, I don't know if that helps your viewers, sort of feel good about what they did or whether that's credit to them or whatever. But I definitely think that's a big part of it.
Well, look, I feel good. By the way, we found another block, so now we're down to 7. We just found 4 minutes ago. We found another block, we're assuming that all these blocks that are being found are BIP91 blocks, which is not an assumption we should be making. And yes, the last 2 blocks were. Hey, there goes Bobby. So the last couple of blocks were also 91. So we only got 7 blocks to go out of the next 22 blocks. And looks like the last 20 or 30 blocks were all BIP91 blocks. So it is getting locked in. So back to the user-activated soft fork movement. So I actually think that we had a lot to do with it. And I'm proud of all the work that I did. And I was ready. I was ready to fight for Bitcoin and only accept SegWit blocks as of August 1st. I was really ready to. Let me do that. Yeah, I was really ready to. I was really ready to only run. BIP91, not BIP91, sorry. I was really ready to only run segregated witness and stuff. And look, I'm happy. Look, I'm happy this worked out. I'm happy that there's not going to be a fork. I'm happy that because I could have been clueless, right? I'm not ready for that stuff. So it's good. It's good they're all worked out. Now, here's another tough question. What do you think this means for relations going forward? Because things got heated between former friends that ended up on opposite sides of the debate. You stayed neutral, but I went at it at some people I was really good friends with a year ago.
Yeah, and that's the story of Bitcoin the last 3 years. There's a lot of people that have come out on different sides of the debate that were friends before that aren't now. Yeah, I mean, I think you see this in my writing tone. Like I try to just sort of report the technical facts as much as I can, and I'm not really interested in spouting opinions because there's a lot of people that are already doing that, and that's not really the niche I want to go into. But that said,
that's the niche I went into, right? That's what I'm doing, is just screaming out my opinion.
Hey, and you're getting 1,000 viewers, so more power to you.
I know. Right? We might even hit 1,100.
Oh my goodness!
We're at 1,055 live viewers right now.
Oh my goodness! And Bitstamp's almost back up to 2,800. Oh, above 2,800. So we're back.
Yeah, we're creeping back up. We're back above 28. You are right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I do feel like you know, there's going to be some healing, I think, as a result of SegWit, and I think I'm hoping at least that a lot of people recognize the brilliance of the technology there. I like just studying it. It's really cool stuff, and you know, once you study it and understand it, you recognize like what cool, interesting tech it is, and hopefully, you know, the community can build a lot of the tools that are necessary for the ecosystem to thrive on, you know, SegWit, including Lightning Network things and the infrastructure required there. And it gets used, and, you know, the potential of all this stuff comes to fulfillment, and we get to see a lot of the cool projects that are around. I'm also hoping that as a result of all this, that we push for some of the really cool technologies like side chains, drive chains, some of this other stuff that I think we're kind of overdue for, and that we could just basically eliminate every altcoin with Bitcoin using these technologies. But you know, that's further down the line, maybe a year and a half. But I'm hopeful that this is the direction that we're going in as a community.
No, those are very good points. Very good points. I've actually wearing this shirt on every video for like the last like 2 weeks of videos or more. So people are like, damn, does this guy like have a shower or ever change clothes? I actually have a few of these shirts, so I do rotate them. And most of the time, I only put the shirt on during the video. So I can go for like a week's worth of videos in one shirt. And it's still like, well, considering how long my videos are, that is like an 8-hour of wearing a shirt. But hey, so I got a really funny comment here that I have to read. It's not true, but it made me laugh. So thanks Hyder for the comment that says, Tone, you did half the fighting. So much for decentralization.
It's awesome. Awesome.
So no, I didn't do half the fighting. I mean, Eric Lombroso, I believe, did more fighting than I did. Luke Dash Jr. was probably right up there with anyone. So I give a lot of credit to Luke. I give a lot of credit to Eric Lombroso for, you know, putting their reputation on the line with the user-activated soft fork. Also, a lot of anonymous guys, like, you know, like Whale Panda and some of the other ones.
Shaolin Fry, yeah.
Shaolin Fry. One day we'll find out who that is.
I think a lot of people know who he is because I think he's been doxxed a few times. But yeah, just like Whale Panda. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will be someone we already know. We just don't know who actually who. It's not that public. But he'll probably change his name next time and be someone else, which is fine, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Okay.
Yeah. I need an alternate identity, Tone. So do you. I think we both need it, and you know, we could do stuff like anonymously, and yeah, I could spout opinions if I wanted to, I guess.
Yeah, I think like a very small percentage of my audience got a really good chuckle.
Uh-oh. Why'd you mute yourself? Oh, there you go. Uh-oh. It looks like Tone is not on. His speaking is not, well, oh boy. Do I have to fill in this? Okay, he's trying to figure out what to do. Yeah, your mic's not working. Yeah. Sorry, Tone. Your mic is not working. All right. Yeah, but yeah, this maybe we found another block. Maybe we found another block. Let's hope. 5 blocks to go. All right, we just found 2 more blocks. So 5 blocks to go. That's less than an hour, people. And at 8.5 minutes per block, that is about 40-something minutes. So 40-something minutes from now, we will be closing. We'll have locked in before the close of the epoch. So that will mean that we will get BIP91 locked in on the network. And 336 blocks, which is 56 hours, but at 8.5 minutes, it's something less than that, closer to 50. We will actually be enforcing the soft fork rule, which says you have to signal for SegWit. All right, I think Tone is about out. I forget how you close your shows, Tone. I feel like I have to close your show for you or something if you can't get the speaker thing right. Nobody can hear you still. Yeah, well, let me check the chat, actually. All right, so can anyone hear Tone? Yeah, all right, so Tone's mic crashes, Bitcoin crashes. That's a funny comment. No, don't leave. Okay, the Christopher Walken of crypto. You have 1,000 views. Wow, how many people are in this? Oh my God, what is going on? There's like... there are way too many. All right, so I'll do some Q&A if you guys are okay. All right, so Tone's putting up his hands like somebody's pointing a gun at him. Okay. No, there's no sound, Tone. I think you need to set up your. This is a sign. You need to set up your own laptop. Okay, you need to get rid of this setup and set up your laptop and get it all done. Yeah, yeah. People are like, why are you taking over the show? Yeah, tone deaf. That's good. That's good. What does this mean to the coins? Wow, that's a lot of questions. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to really help out Tone here. I'm obviously not the host, so you know. Jimmy, sing a song. Yeah, like I haven't heard that before since I was like 5. Okay. BTC is done for today. Sell the news. Huh. Okay. SegWit. Yeah. Somebody buy my LTC. Okay. 1,000 likes. All right. Talk about what I want. Yeah. Tone, why don't you message me on this thing so I can like at least know what to do or something? Yeah. I guess I could take some tech questions. Price is Tone's thing. So yeah. All right, let's see. Any questions, people? Do you think investors will pull back from other cryptocurrencies and put that money in Bitcoin now that BIP91 is done? Great question. I did notice that Litecoin went down significantly over the past few days, and I'm sure Tone will talk more about that or show a chart or something. But yeah, it does seem like that was the major reason for SegWit on Litecoin's rise. But it looks like a lot of that money is flowing back to Bitcoin. All right. Tone says that I will close it out. Okay. Well, it's been great. Tell us about your Disneyland trip. Yeah, I went on a lot of rides. I enjoyed the cars ride. But yeah, anyway, Chaincoin, I've never heard of it. What's after SegWit? Obviously, the hard fork thing. That's going to be the next thing. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, everyone. It's been wild. I think this was the most interesting podcast just in terms of what happened during the podcast. We had a lot of blocks coming in. Let me just check to make sure. Yeah, it's still 5 blocks to go. Price went all over the place. There was like a $300 swing while we were on air, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I don't know how many people are watching right now, but I think it's over 1,000. So thank you to all of those people. I believe that World Crypto Network is having like a lock-in party video or something like that. Tone, you're obviously invited, but you got to fix your mic first. But yeah, you guys should move over to that, and we'll continue keep this party going, I guess. All right. Thank you, everyone, and Tone will close us out.